Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk. My name is Petros Stavroulakis, and I'm the CEO of Daedalus AI. Tonight, we'll be talking about how AI can benefit business and what are the recent advancements in the field. So, we asked you before this talk, what are your main involvements in AI? And we've got multiple answers. It seems that the most of you are not involved directly in AI, so we'll keep this talk a bit more understandable and less technical. Again, we've so let's go to see first of all what are the perceptions around AI. So what comes to your mind when you think of artificial intelligence? We've got this classical meme here that shows what various people think of AI in a comical way, but I would encourage you to think a little bit about what intelligence means for you and what you think is artificial intelligence, basically, for a moment. So please take the time to reflect on this, because it may not be what you expect it to be. So what is artificial intelligence? I hope you had the time to reflect upon what artificial intelligence means for you. Artificial intelligence is basically a function of parameters and input data which create a predicted output. So artificial intelligence is not based on intelligence itself, it's based on the information which is hidden in the data that is being fed to it. To keep this talk less technical, we're going to be using block diagrams for everything. So I know it's a bit late and I don't want you guys to drift off. So basically a very basic definition of artificial intelligence is that it's a function that has input a black box function which is affected by parameters. Its input is data and its output is a predicted value of something. The two basic AI processes are training, where as we saw before, the input again is the data, and then the function is being created, basically, so the parameter values are being changed, and this is affected by the ground truth. So we have, for the training data, we've got the expected output, and what happens is we pass the data into the function, we see the output that comes out of the function, we compare it with the ground truth, and then we create an error, which is then fed back into the parameters, and they're changed accordingly. We do this for a lot of data points, and effectively, when we say training data, we mean changing the parameters of the AI function so that the data which is input to it produces output with the minimum amount of error. What we call by inference, when referring to an AI process, is, as we said before, the single journey of the data through the function. So here we are not using the output, we're just predicting a specific output with the parameters that were used during the training. In the form that you filled out, it seems that most of you are interested in large language models and generative AI. And then a close second is visual AI and computer vision and reinforcement learning, followed by agentic AI and voice recognition or time series data. We'll be talking about all these types of AI, explaining them so that you get a feel of what they are. So visual AI is the type of AI in which the input data is an image. And you could use different AI types of functions, localization, segmentation, or classification, AI networks which create segmentation outputs as the one seen below, to edit an image in a visual way. The usefulness, depending on if your business is heavily based on imaging, if it's the final output or not, can vary from, let's say, 2 to 5 to 5 out of 5 for this task. At Daedalus, we are very excited to have participated in a lot of visual AI projects, such as segmentation projects as seen here for industry, where we, during my tenure at the University of Nottingham, we were able to create an image that segments a image based on the material that's in the image. So depending on different types of material identified, each pixel is characterized, and a different measurement algorithm is used to do this 3D reconstruction in that part of the image. And you can view the full interview on YouTube if you just search for Stavroulakis in Nottingham, and the paper is shown above, the conference paper that was created. We have also used visual AI in dental applications, such as 3D scanning. So we've used RGBD image segmentation on 3D scanners, so that we are able to isolate only the tooth and gum area during 3D reconstruction. Before my involvement in this project, it was stuck in R&D for 3 years. Within 3 months, the accuracy of the system was raised to acceptable levels, and Aeroscan is now one of the best-selling tools in the dental market. Future dental application, other dental applications include a panoramic X-ray improvement. So here we use visual AI to remove image noise from panoramic images. And for this, we partnered exclusively with Trident Dental in Milan, Italy. This is another example of our collaboration in intraoral X-ray scans, where you can see the huge difference before and after in clarity of the image. And we've also used this paradigm to improve MRI images. This is a slice of the neck of a human being, and you can see the before it being cleared and after. There's a huge difference in clarity. This helps doctors identify small areas of worry and aids them in during their identification or their cross correlation of a condition. For another type of AI called database or time series AI, this is basically the voice recognition or time series type, which most of you found is not, we were not interested in, is actually very useful for business, because this could be used with tabular data that already exists in the business in time series, such as sales, demand, stock curves, which can be fed into an AI function to create a prediction, a regression, or classification types of outputs. For example, predicting the stock, if a stock price is going to change considerably from one day to the next, or other such things such as predicting sales, estimating demand, estimating stock requirements, and optimizing logistics. We use this type of unidimensional data when we classified the pixels of a hyperspectral image, which was used for scanning the Munch screen painting. For this, we collaborated with Munch Museum in one of the EU projects we're involved in. And as you can see an example here, we have isolated the green pigment using a characterization of the frequencies of each pixel in the hyperspectral cube. Now, reinforcement learning is via AI agents, and we have to be careful not to confuse this with agentic AI. AI agents are simply, we could think of them as players of a game, of a computer game, which are released in this environment, which could be any digital simulation environment or real environment that produces reward and state transitions. So by using this type of AI, reinforcement learning type of AI, where you get rewards, if an agent operates in the environment for long enough, it will create a map of what the average, let's say for 10 steps in each direction, you get a cumulative, in one step, you get a cumulative addition of the rewards, and you can predict in the end for each step what is the best move. So for each state, what is the optimal next state to go to? For this, I've actually based my knowledge on my brother's success in this area. He's a PhD student, which is finishing in U of C Irvine, and currently working for Quilter in order to do optimized PCB layout using reinforcement learning strategies. Then we've got generative AI, whose usefulness for business in general is very high. So LLMs fall under this category, and most of you were interested in this category. So this type of AI, the input is a prompt, usually some text or image, and the function's goal is to generate a believable human output out of that prompt. So in order for this to happen, large quantities of data, very expensive training needs to take place. Two examples of such tools are Adobe Firefly and ChatGPT. And this type of AI is very helpful to the business because employees can reduce the need to produce large amounts of text or the output that they're looking for, because they can use the AI with a prompt in order to create a large percentage of it, and then they can just go and correct it or improve it if it's not correct. So this reduces, in a lot of cases, the workload for an employee, and it's very useful for business, and it will be very useful in the future. Thanks to DeepSeek, now this can be done much cheaper and open source, since DeepSeek has open sourced their model. So small to medium businesses can also take advantage of this, and it's not necessary that such networks are used by centralized services such as ChatGPT. But the future of this area is open source, and we'll see a lot more of these types of networks coming out in the future. So this is very encouraging for businesses. And finally, I've left this for last because it's the most, I think, important type of artificial intelligence network that will be useful for businesses. So we give it a 5 out of 5, is Agentic AI, because Agentic AI now instead is similar to generative AI and LLMs, because it uses prompts, usually text or objectives as an input. But its job now is not to generate believable text, but generate a strategy and usable AI commands and functions, and also take control and complete the process. So the output is a completed process. It's an autonomous way of doing things without it being strictly programmed. For example, if you want to book a cheap ticket to Maui between the 19th and 29th of March, the Agentic AI would generate the strategy, so which steps he has to take first, search online for the cheapest hotel and airfare, check your bank account for the funds, fill in the details for the ticket in the respective APIs for the airline, let's say, and then step 4, actually go and purchase the ticket. So the input to this would be a prompt, and the output would be an actual ticket to Maui, which is very, very powerful, because as you can see, this would not only help people, but it has the potential of replacing lots of employees, as it does the job of multiple people in one go. We are in talks with Vumi, an insurance company based in Latin America, with a collaboration to start between July and September. And our advice with Vumi would be for them to start with Agentic AI in insurance underwriting, claims management, customer support, and predictive analytics. So we would be working with them to improve those areas and actually automate them. So at this point, you would probably be right of thinking that AI agents are the future of AI for businesses, and they are actually the holy grail, which would enable automation of most of the processes of a business. And it's worth thinking about if this is the future that is promised to be. Are employees just going to be sitting around and putting commands in an agentic AI machine and then sitting around and just correcting its actions? Is this the future that we see for our employees? That is a nice way to think about it, but we also have to think about the threats to SMBs. So the threats we've identified with AI, especially to small and medium, we're going to focus to small and medium businesses in this talk, is the competitors' productivity, HR restructuring, the skill gap, and legal and ethical issues. The most important threat we find to SMBs from agentic AI is the existential threat that will happen in productivity. So if your competitor has or will employ agentic AI, it will improve their productivity by an order of magnitude, at least. So can you afford not to adopt it is the question. Because the difference between you and your competitor will suddenly become huge, and it might actually be catastrophic for your business. With OpenAI and other companies toying with the idea of releasing agents for businesses, will you select the easy and expensive solution, so a centralized agentic AI solution, or will you go more reasonably priced and a customized solution, for example, using open source frameworks and an integration partner, for example, Daedalus, to combine lower cost and customizable options? We believe that this actual second option is perfect for SMEs because it reduces their costs in implementing this, and also they have a partner who is there for them 24/7, supporting their AI journey. One part of that journey is ML ops, which we should not forget about. Again, AI is not a simple procedure of training a model and then releasing it. You still have to stay on top of it, monitoring it and providing maintenance as the business focus changes, as data changes, as if you find mistakes. So a continuous improvement model needs to be implemented, and Daedalus is there for you. So any integration partner would be useful in this journey. The second threat we've identified is the HR restructuring problem. So to remain competitive, labor costs will need to be reduced. So if you've got agentic AI, you can theoretically reduce the number of people working on the same task, because the AI will be taking most of the heavy lifting. So if you are going to keep the same amount of business, it's reasonable to predict that fewer people will be needed to do the job. However, you have to be very careful in how you're going to proceed with this, because skilled staff will still be required for prompt engineering and quality assurance. So again, for Greece, this will also be, if you do this in a strategic way, you could possibly offset the effects of low reproductive rates and outward migration of skilled labor if you start implementing agentic AI in strategic areas as well. Again, there's if you would like to retain this skilled staff, you will need to teach them how to use AI properly. So there will be a skill gap that needs to be filled, and AI upskilling will be very popular in the coming years. So people have to learn how to use AI properly, understand the limitations in order to avoid costly mistakes, and in order to be able to mitigate unforeseen AI failures, which have not been seen at the moment, have been being experienced at the moment. And also that includes the CEO of the company, the people at the top, because they are the people that this is going to affect most in the future. So they need to have a basic understanding of how to implement AI across the business. And Daedalus has AI training services which can help you on this journey. We can provide that to you as well. Moving on, we've got the legal implications of implementing AI. And in the EU, we've got the EU AI Act, which has become law since August 1st, 2024. And this is a compliance mechanism for different types of AI within the EU. So it started with prohibited AI systems which are changing human behavior. Then it moved on to it'll move on to general purpose AI in August, and then next year with high risk systems, and in 2027 with high risk systems as safety components. So make sure you abide by the directives in order to remain to have less risk of being fined or prosecuted with your use of AI. And finally, we've got the ethical concerns of the implementation of AI. From the customer side, we need to make sure that issues like bias, privacy, and intellectual property are maintained. Whereas for the company side, we have to make sure that the fair treatment of the employees and the company culture will stay the same. So, for example, AI has to be seen as a tool that will help people at their job and not replace them, to sustain the motivation of employees and a good company culture. Now, the solutions for this. To solve the aforementioned risks, we suggest that for the competition risk, you invest early in AI adoption. So be able to be one of the first movers in your area, as it will give you a huge advantage compared to your competitors. And it will reduce the risk of you staying behind and possibly going out of business as a small, medium company. HR restructuring, strategic HR management is required in order to be able to retain people in the right positions that are required in order to be to have AI operate smoothly across the business and be able to maintain it in the future and correct its outputs if necessary. Also, for the skilled gap, we suggest that you invest early in training, that all your employees are up to speed with what is the correct way of using AI, to remove the hype around it, and for being able to prepare people for the era where they're going to be doing most of their work using AI. For the legal risks, we suggest that the EU Act, that you're aware of the EU Act, and that you you comply with the directives by the dates that are set by the EU. For the ethical part, we would suggest that you include all stakeholder priorities during the transition, so people don't feel left out and don't feel prejudiced against, and also reduces heartache along the line. We would like to thank you for your time, and we'll be here to answer any of your questions, and we're ready to support you as Daedalus in your future AI journey. I'd like to thank you for your time and for your attention.